Once upon a time, there was a movie director by the name of Tobe Hooper. He may have passed away several years ago, but his legacy lives on. He's the man behind such masterpieces like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Poltergeist, making him one of the best horror directors. Or at least that's what most people think, because if you look into it more, much of his career was a long line of bomb after bomb, disappointment after disappointment, with obscure and inferior works which have none of the talent and creativity of his best films. Of his entire filmography, I've decided to review the last movie he directed, Djinn. This is a special one, as it's an American Emirati co-production with dialogue in both English and Arabic. It's also the very first Muslim horror film that I've seen, so that at least makes it interesting. I hope. And by the way, I will be playing the movie with the actual subtitles because, in general, one should respect foreign cinema. Let's not waste any more time and let's watch Tobe Hooper's Djinn. We open up with a narration which attempts to sound important.
عندما خلق الله السماوات والأرض قد فصل الله الإنس عن الجن وفي بعض الأحيان يختلط عالمهما.
10 seconds in and already I don't care. We cut to a young couple who are grieving over the death of their infant son.
It's been a year and I'm worried. She doesn't eat, she sleeps all the time, we hardly talk. She thinks she's to blame.
I think I'm to blame because I am to blame.
No one understands us, forgives us, or helps us forgive ourselves, more than family.
If you haven't already noticed, the acting is really bad. We're talking bland and non-engaging Steven Seagal type of acting.
And I feel it would be good for Salama if we went back to the
I don't want to go back. We've talked about this.
Just because I'm a bad actor doesn't mean I don't have feelings.
Sudden infant death syndrome is far more common than you might imagine. Grief can lead to depression, even to guilt.
Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
The company I work for has offered me a job in the UAE. I think it would be good for Salama, for both of us, to be near family again.
لازم ترجعي. هيدا هو الوقت. خالد لازم يرجع. ما راح توقفي طريقي.
That wasn't suspicious in any way.
In your way?
This will be good for both of us. I know it. Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you, nameless woman with mysterious intentions. Oh, we appear to have jumped into a much better movie.
Bizna, we beat you.
You idiots, you drive like maniacs. So this is what you guys do for fun on weekends. Perfect for a luxury high-rise.
Hey, I know that guy. He is the American stereotype.
English.
I'm starving. Let's get the dinner ready.
What is that?
It's for protection. My protection.
Can it also protect us from this obvious artificial lighting?
One of your boogeymen, Djinn?
My grandmother used to tell me when I was little. And it's about Duis.
who?
They tell American stereotype the story of a mythological creature called the Djinn, hence the title.
Duis came to the house of a young fisherman and his family, an abomination, half Djinn and half human.
And 1/4 fake CGI. Seriously, this came out in 2013. Now the Djinn appears to be glitching.
She killed his human child and replaced it with her own. The next morning, the fisherman's family saw the Djinn child in their house and realized the misfortune that had befallen them.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've been mixing up this story with that of Rosemary's Baby.
A spell was cast to lock the baby in human form so that he would never know his true identity. She continues to search for her lost child to this day, walking the ends of the earth, hoping to find him.
How could she have lost them? They were right in front of her.
And?
And what? That's where it ends.
Worst episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark ever. But they are not alone, as they are about to become the Djinn's next victims.
She said they won't hurt me. But you... they are gonna hurt you.
Fuck, it's Emperor Palpatine back from the dead! Again! And just like most bad horror movies, we never hear of these characters again. We then cut to Dubai's international airport, where the couple reunites with the wife's family.
My baby sister, all grown up.
Oh, and for all Marvel fans, yes, her sister is Lila from Moon Knight.
Are you happy to be home?
Of course.
They drive in the scorching hot weather that the United Arab Emirates has to offer on their way to the hotel.
كيف لقيت البيت؟
الشركة حصلوها ورتبوها.
بس ليه في الحمر؟ مش كانوا هادين القرية؟
وشوف الوقاحة عمروا البناية فوق ضيعة كلها جن ما عندهم احترام.
This is typical of horror movies where the house is cursed as a result of being built on an Indian burial ground.
An ancient Indian what?
Do they never take the myth seriously? The only thing I learned from this cliché is that abusive development infrastructure is bad.
Morning.
You must be Sammy. I'm Khalid.
Of course. The company told me you would arrive.
Guess it's time to check out our new home.
We see that the hotel they are staying at is practically empty, boring, and monotonous to look at. And the weather is always foggy, so you can't even see what's outside. Think of The Shining if they made it even more boring than that shitty miniseries.
ماني مرتاحت له كثير هيدا سامي. ليه؟ مبتسم زيادة عن اللزوم كأن بده شيء.
I have to give credit to the mother. She's the only character to have any charisma or personality, thanks to her dry sense of humor.
كان عصفور. بس كان شفت شيء.
أكيد هيدا واحد من اللي بينطفوا شبابيك. بعرفهم. قليلين الأدب. بيبصبصوا علي أنا وعم بتحمم.
هو أنت طولي أصلاً.
I swear she reminds me of my history teacher.
تعرفوا هالشقة؟ هو رح ببعد الحسد. هيدا يبعد الشر.
Lucky penny, lucky rabbit's foot.
The family leaves, but they are not getting out of this movie alive.
في إيه؟
حنموت.
أيوة كده يعني ما فيش حد يبغى.
Please let me in. I'm dying out here.
أنا مش هسمح إنه يحصل في عيلتي كده. لا سيبوني.
No, don't go outside. That's how they all die. No, don't go towards the light. And that, my friends, is why you should never drive in this fog.
I'm not going to discuss this with you right now.
So even though they just got off the plane, the husband goes to work the very same day. He has a busy schedule.
A long ride to the office from here?
2 hours, sir.
Keeps scaring her into going back to the hotel none of us want to be in. Oh, there appears to be a big black stain on the screen that keeps moving.
I just saw someone enter my apartment on your security camera.
Perhaps you were looking at another floor. They all look exactly the same.
No, it was clearly my floor, the 6th floor.
This leads to the biggest problem with the movie. It recycles every single horror trope that you have seen in humanity's history, with no attempt to do anything different. I could summarize every predictable moment in less than 10 seconds. Salama sees something go into her room. She asks the manager to check and he finds nothing. Salama hears a noise coming from her bedroom and she finds nothing. She hears another noise from another room and she finds nothing. She hears voices coming from the air vent and boom, jump scare. I could go on like this all day. This leads to Salama having flashbacks of her baby son. That's a CGI baby. I'm dead serious. That kid was clearly created by computer. It does not look real. Did none of the cast and crew have children they could have used for those couple of seconds? This is the most pointless use of special effects since, oh I don't know, the fake CGI baby from Breaking Dawn Part 2. Her husband is already at work? What did that driver say?
Long ride to the office from here?
2 hours, sir.
Is that what Salama has been doing for 2 hours? How boring. And what was the purpose of these visions? Nothing. Tobe Hooper is just wasting our time.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. كل أعوذ برب سبحان رب العظيم. سبحان ربي العظيم. سبحان ربي العظيم. سمع الله لمن حمده.
I pray God to help me download the latest update in After Effects.
سبحان ربي العظيم. الله أكبر.
منيح.
Obviously this is not her real mother, but the Djinn taking on her appearance. They have a conversation from which we learn more about Salama.
مش قادرة شو؟ جيبي ولد بيشبه هداك؟ القتل حرام سلامة.
كيف عرفتي؟
I know everything and everyone at the same time.
كنازي. إيدي.
It's me. I'm leaving now.
Now you're going home? How long were you at work for? 5 minutes or 5 hours? It's easy to lose track of time with this movie. Now we have red lights illuminating the scene. That should make the movie slightly less hideous to look at.
I'll be right there, Habibti. Thank you.
He makes it back to 40 Twats where he meets one of the hotel guests. Oh, so there are more than 2 people in this building.
يعني ما في وايد ناس عايشين هني. ما شفتك من قبل.
أنتِ من رأس الخيمة.
Hey, كيف عرفت؟
Did I mention that you are so much more attractive than my wife?
شكلك شي نسيت أدق الباص.
شوف الحال أنا بعد في السادس.
All the floors look the same. Or more specifically, the only floor in the building they could afford to shoot.
I don't feel like myself. I'm hearing voices. I'm seeing things.
Look, you're tired. You're jet lagged.
Of course, I remember having inexplicable visions as a result of jet lag.
What we need is to start a family.
Even after what happened?
Yes. Is this a good time to mention that having children is kind of overrated?
هلا هلا.
You two have met?
Oh, yes. And you were right about us having the same taste.
I smell jealousy.
It's just that I needed you two over here so that you could meet your new neighbors.
Finally, several people together at once. This should be interesting.
So how are you liking it here?
Well, we've only been here a few hours.
It's Sardinian cheese. The sight of Kazumatsu is killing me.
Yeah, well, I have to change now. I'll be back in a sec.
While he changes, Khalid also begins to see things. Let me guess, you're going to assume that it's caused by jet lag. You see, even Alfred Hitchcock's Birds can't take this movie anymore. Now the lights are turning off. How scary. I am so invested. You directed Poltergeist, Toby. You should know better. It's revealed through another flashback that their computer-generated son was a spawn from hell, and she killed him out of fear, which we already knew from the conversation with her mother. The horror! They're stroking her so softly! Why is the Djinn now going on all fours? Because she wants to, okay? Don't question her way of life.
What happened?
The Djinn returns and gives Khalid the power of remembering. It turns out that Khalid is in fact the Djinn's son, the one from the fairy tale, as if we, the audience, hadn't already seen that twist coming.
Khalid! خطف مني مرة بس أنا ما تخليت عنه تميت أدور عليه.
Khalid turns to the dark side surprisingly quickly. Forget emotions or character development.
كان ولدنا وانت ذبحتيه!
استسلم للغضب. اكره. تذكر أصلك. And your journey towards the dark side will be complete.
الدم بالدم. حياة مقابل حياة.
That's what you get for being in this movie.
هذا بيتي. أنا رديت.
And that, my friends, is the end. This is the note that Tobe Hooper went out on for the final film of his life. I am so disappointed. Oh, this was so boring. How long was it? This was rubbish. This was one of the worst movies I've ever had to watch. While it is interesting to see an American director make a film with a Muslim cast, this is where all the praise ends. Tobe Hooper's directing is flat. The story feels like it was written by AI, as it's unoriginal and a blatant rip-off of better horror movies. It's not scary, with the suspense being dragged out into boredom, and the film itself looks cheap and ugly to look at. And considering that the Djinn itself has a rich mythological history they could have explored for a Western audience, but they never do, and because of that, it ends up becoming another generic and forgettable monster. There's a lesson to be learned here. Don't construct buildings on sacred ground or kill CGI babies, or else epileptic monsters will kill you. Yeah, sounds stupid when you put it that way. Wow.